And interestingly, there are historically people used to write papers on network theory or network filters using Chebyshev polynomials, and everybody was using different spelling for Chebyshev. Umpty number of spellings were there. So finally, IEEE was forced to standardize his name, and they standardized it as everybody must use. I am not using that actually. They standardize the name to this, so there is no confusion that, and everybody has the same. All kinds of, some people put a T, some people don't put a T, some people put V here, some people put WF here, all kinds of combinations used to be there. But I am accustomed to this spelling, so I will continue with this spelling, although this is not a standardized spelling. Okay, Chebyshev filter. Now, what is the Chebyshev filter? Chebyshev filter is Hj omega square is approximated as equal to 1 by 1 plus epsilon square Tn omega whole square. This Tn omega are known as the Chebyshev polynomials. In general, if you put x here, T0x is supposed to be 1, T1x is supposed to be x, and T2x is supposed to be 2x square minus 1, and T3x is supposed to be something else, and so on and so forth. These polynomials are well defined polynomials, and the beauty of these polynomials is that the odd polynomials is an odd function, and the T1, T3, so on and so forth are odd functions of x, and even polynomials are even functions of. And the second thing is that at x is equal to 1, this polynomial has a value always equal to either a plus 1 or a minus 1. That means at this point, this will vary from minus 1 to plus 1 in some wiggly manner, but at this point it is always equal to plus 1 or a minus 1. And also, as x value goes more than 1, then this function becomes exponential function. That is the beauty of these polynomials. As a result of that, our 0 to 1 correspond to this 0 to 1. Within this variation, the variation is only equal to 1 in terms of amplitude, and beyond 1 it becomes very large, so it falls very fast. Are you with me? You substitute this polynomial here, and then during 0 to 1, the value is only 1, within 1. So, square of this is equal to 1 by 1 plus epsilon square. So, this value will be varying from 1 plus 1 to 1 by 1 plus omega square, epsilon square, right. At some points it is 1, when this is 0, and this the extreme point here is always equal to 1 by 1 plus epsilon square. And the difference between these two is equal to epsilon square by 1 by 1 plus epsilon square, and if epsilon square is very small compared to 1, the variation is equal to epsilon square. That is why I put the band as equal to epsilon square, which is approximately equal to 1 minus 1 by 1 plus epsilon square. Okay? There is a lot more to this Chebyshev polynomials. If you take x as equal to cos theta, then T1x will be equal to cos theta and T2x will be 2 cos square theta minus 1 and 2 cos square theta minus 1 is equal to cos 2 theta. So, these polynomials basically are cos and theta. In fact, all this information is used for finding the zeros of this polynomial. So, now what do we do after all this information, assuming that this is a Chebyshev polynomial with all these properties? Then I need to find out the zeros of this polynomial. If I write this as 1 by qs into q minus s, just like we have done there. And then I will have to extract qs out of it, and qs is extracted by taking zeros in the left half plane. So, I must find out zeros of this, substituting s is equal to j omega into this, and find out all the zeros in terms of s. I will have quadrantal symmetry, there will be equal number on the left hand side, equal number on the right hand side. Pull out the left hand side one and put it into q of s. So, you get h of s is equal to 1 by q of s. So, I must know what are the zeros of this polynomial, that is 1 plus epsilon square T n omega whole square substituted s square is equal to minus omega square and made equal to 0. That will give you zeros of this polynomial, and since it is omega square function, automatically be quadrantal symmetry. So, out of that you pull out those s's which are on the negative real axis, negative left half plane with the negative real part and put it into q of s. So, you got 1 by q of s. So, I must know what are the zeros of this. It is a very complicated expression to find out the zeros of this, but they turn out to be like this. Remember, Butterworth had a circle. Butterworth, all zeros are on a unit circle, zeros of that 1 plus s to the power of 2n. So, all the zeros were on the unit circle, e to the power of j something. So, magnitude of this is always 1, whereas these will be on a kind of a ellipse like this. Chebyshev zeros are all on the ellipse, and there will be equal number here for fourth order, and like this will be equally distributed around it. There is an equation for all these zeros you can find out in the literature, but I don't know whether I have the expression or not. I didn't bother to write down the expressions. It is a bit complicated expression, so, but one can find out the zeros of this and take the left hand zeros, put it into q of s. And this is supposed to be the Chebyshev filter. Okay? So, whether you take Butterworth or you take Chebyshev, our aim is to approximate this ideal function magnitude in such a manner that I get a transfer function h of s as 1 by q of s, and the transfer function has to be realizable. So, I am guaranteeing that the q of s has zeros on the left half plane by properly choosing the zeros in the denominator polynomial. The phase shift properties of this filter as well as this filter are notorious. They are no good as far as compared to linear variation. But as I said, during those days the interest is only in the amplitude part of it, magnitude part of it. Nobody bothered about the phase variation.